Good evening, everybody. Here we are. It's Monday night. This is a late night edition of this craziness that we have going on up here on the 8th floor above Chops in downtown Boca Raton, Florida. Yeah, made a little adjustment to our sound. Hope this sounds a little better. We have a spectacular Shure microphone, SM7B. SM7B. If you want to be talking on the internet to everybody all over the place, you need a Shure, S-C-H-U-R-E, Shure SM7B. That's what you have to have. And then you also need these Sony noise canceling headphones. I'm telling you, these things are so comfortable. You know, you can wear them all day and night. Yep. You got the XM6, you got the XM5, and the XM4. And I had to return the XM4s because this part broke off from this part. It just like disintegrated in my hand. I mean, it's obviously cracked and stress cracks and so forth. But it was Sony cheerfully replaced them with brand new ones. So I have a pair here, and I have a pair in the bathroom that's charging, and I put them on at night. You know, some people cover their eyes when they go to sleep. You know, some kind of eye, you know, to keep the light out. I guess I don't do that, but I wear the noise canceling headphones in the evening. I do, and then I'm going to show you my little device here. Whoops. And if you can see this, Sirius XM. Let's. I don't know if I can get that on my iPad. I'm going to go to the App Store. Where you know, we do everything around here. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, I'm on the wrong side. I need to be on the right side. Swap cameras, Jimmy. There we go. So here's now you notice if I go straight down, all the way down, and you can see this eyeball looking thing. Right next to it is an A. Just touch that. And then, let's see, what am I looking for? I'm looking for Cirrus. Let's give it a shot. S-I-R. Excuse me. There we go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, see? S up there? Yeah. SIRUSXM. App. Right there. It's third down. Oh, no. No, I don't want that. I don't know what dealer means. XM app. XM free XM. That's a good word. FR. Those 4-letter words. You see where it says Sirius XM? It's right there. Open. So, well, let's just do this. Update. Oh my God. Crap. I guess I need to update it. There it is. It's updating. Oh, crap. Do I need to do it here too? On my iPhone is where it's most important. All right. SIRUS XM app. There it is. No, there it is right there. So instead of touching open, I'm just going to touch the middle of that. It says update. Yeah, there's an update. So we'll let it update. Yeah. So I'm going to go up here like where, oh, there you go. We got it has an iPhone and an iPad version. I am a Sirius XM radio person. There you go. You can subscribe. I am a subscriber. So it's nice to know that you can get it on your iPad. Open. Let's see what happens. Anyway, so that's, I do, and then I can get my Fox News. Howard Stern, no. Subscribe, no. I already have XM, yeah. And I don't know, 416 1100. I think that's the place I want to be. There we go. And Google has let me in. Yeah, the Google thing, I don't know. They probably got me by the, by the short and curlies, but, oops, excuse me. Would like to find your device on local network. All right. There you go. Based on your nighttime listening, you see where it says Fox News Night. Yeah. I'll just play that for a minute and see what happens. I don't think it's going to play. Would you like to use Sirius Radio?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Now, you've heard how the IRS is getting more aggressive with collections in the new year. Now, they practically unlimited power to levy your bank account, garnish your paycheck. They can have your passport revoked. Now, if you own a business, you owe payroll taxes, they can shut you down and come after you personally. So take my advice.
There we go. And see, I just wanted to show you that XM with Sirius XM, you can get all kinds of, the audio version of TV channels and stuff, and such. So, I plug my iPhone into a charger. I turn on Sirius XM radio. Yep, I sure do. And there we go. My blood sugar is 101. How nice. I always have to keep an eye on that. There it is, 102. You see 102 right here? Bingo, touch it. 9 o'clock, I had a couple of pretzels. I had a couple of pretzels at like 7, and then once my system started to digest the movie pretzels, yeah, I had movie pretzels instead of dinner. Naughty, naughty, lesson 2. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Yeah. Oh, so yeah, we're gonna go to my. I was just noting I was seeing on the news over here that Apple apparently has lost another couple of rounds of whatever they're trying to do with this company that came up with the method of There's a couple of friends of mine. Yeah, we need to. There we go. You know, I am over 80. Okay, I'm sorry to admit, but yeah, well, it's survival. I had quadruple bypass surgery, and I'm still kicking. Yeah, I feel fine. Yeah. Uh, so I have three. You can't see them all in this view. I have three cameras set up in my little bungalow so that several members of my family, oh, how's Jimmy doing? Oh, they can go take a look. I have given them the secret code. Yep. And a link to Google Home, whatever the hell it is. Google. Yeah. Let's see if I can find it. Here it is. You can see it right next to the Tesla logo in the way bottom there. See the red T right next to it to the right? And so the Google, there we go. See, there's the kitchen with the lights turned down, but the cameras are so sensitive. It looks like it's bright and sunny in there. Let's see, let's come up here. This is all the different, yeah, we don't want to see that. We're going to go out of there. There we go. So there's all three cameras. I view, oh, there's, I think that's, so yeah, I think that's Marilyn. She's in there getting something else to munch on. Oh boy, we get out of there. We don't want to expose her to the public. No. Anyway, so I'm basically telling uh, Daniel and Marilyn. So Marilyn can look in on me when she is wherever she is during the day, and she can. So I circled that little icon, and I drew a line, and said, "Just touch that on your iPhone, and then you'll see all three views. You got the kitchen, the living area, and I have another camera. See that? See that dining room set back there? And then this camera shows you the dining room. And here we go. This is another. These are all print screens from earlier today. So there's Jimmy and all his. Yeah, he's hanging in there. So there's our living room. You can see all the nice, comfortable couches. You see right in there with the flag. I sit just to the right of the flag. Yeah, that's where I'm sitting right now. That's the entryway into the kitchen. And that's the dining room. There you go. You can see that right there. I'll pull that. We'll pull that out away from the this chest that has all the you know fancy glasses and things. Yeah, we'll put it. Yeah, I rearrange the order so that the kitchen is on the top, the living room is in the middle, and the dining room is in the bottom. Yeah, if you log into Google, you can, and if you know my secret password, you can take a peek at me. But I'm not. I'm not disposed on giving that out to everybody. Here's see, here's our bill. Merchant copy. I don't bother keeping the paper. I just take a picture of it. Fighter jets are likely to be seen over Boca Raton, Delray, and Boynton this weekend, last weekend. This is Monday. Because the president is in Mar-a-Lago. And, as part of the detail to keep him safe, they always have a couple of jets flying around just to make sure. There's one. Make sure he gets, see the Boca News? Fighter jets likely. Yeah. It's amazing. So the pilots get, they need hours in the sky. And there's Elon with one of his 15 children. There's Howard. This lady lives in our building just down the hall, and Howard lives not in our building. Nice man. He listens in on me every once in a while, but at 11:47 in the evening, I don't know. Come on, Howard, send me a text message. 561-416-1100. Any of you can send a text message in and ask me a question. Yeah, why not? What is it? It's November 17th. It's Monday. It's 17. Yeah. There you go. And Amazon is having a Black Friday sale, whatever that means. I'll have to ask Marilyn. Someone dug up this picture, and Robin had a perm done on her hair. I'm sitting there about 40 years old. Yeah, there's what do you call it? Lee and Robin and Daddy-O sitting there. And we don't have location information. I don't know where that was taken. I'm looking in the background here. It looks, with those spotlights and things. We're probably in some kind of a restaurant, getting ready to have something to eat. I'm working on a loan for a friend of mine in Titusville, and they just did an appraisal on the property, and the loan is like 65 or 75% of value. And unfortunately, the appraiser came up with some goofy value. It doesn't even add up to the cost, to build the thing. I mean, the lumber and the nails and stuff. You can't buy the materials for what the appraised value was. So I appealed to the person in charge and said, hey, come on. I did it. I actually did. See if I can find it. We go here. We go. I'm not too sure what these are. Let's see if this is favorites. Yeah. All right, come on. Show me the. There it is. This won't give away any confidential information. But I did a ChatGPT. I did a little AI search, and I basically asked the question, is there any reason why an appraiser that's appraising an estate house, waterfront estate house that was recently built, is there any reason why the comparables, the search criteria can't be 50 miles or more, that radius from the location of this property? And it says this is right from the AI. It searched 1,700 records, searched the entire book of knowledge about appraising, chapter 475, chapter 495, the entire Florida statute, all the federal regs, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, USPAP, you name it. An appraiser may expand the search distance for sales comparables to 50 miles or more if necessary, provided they can adequately document and justify the rationale in the report. Yeah, you just had you just had a little paragraph saying, hey, I can't find any comparables, so I'm going to expand the search criteria until I can get enough comparables to come up with a reasonable value for this estate property. There are no arbitrary distance limits set by major appraisal regulations like the Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practice, more commonly known as USPAP, or agencies such as Fannie Mae, and Freddie Mac. Yeah. The core requirement is that the appraiser must use the most relevant and appropriate comparable sales that appeal to the same market participants as the subject property. Yeah. Here's some key considerations when you're expanding the distance. The market area definition. The appraiser should define the relevant market area, which may naturally be larger in rural, low activity areas, which this property is, right smack in the middle. It's in Titusville, by the way. So yeah, it's right across it's right across the river from Pad 39A, to give you an idea of where it is. I mean, you sit in the upper deck of this house and you're looking smack dab at Pad 39A. And when those rockets take off, I'm telling you, it shakes the dishes. It rattles your fillings. Yeah. Yeah, so you have the justification. Lack of similar property types, low sales volumes, and the fact that it might be a very unique property. All of those conditions are considered in expanding the radius from the subject property to get enough comparables. Market-based adjustments. Appropriate adjustments must be made for any differences, including location, proximity, based on market analysis. Competing neighborhoods. Credible results, in urban or suburban areas with ample sales activity. It is a standard practice to use comparables within the 1 mile radius, maybe a 2 or 3 mile radius. But for unique properties or those in rural locations, using sales that may be miles away, e.g. 50 miles, is acceptable if supported. The appraiser just has to write a paragraph justifying why, just basically, use some of these fancy statements. I did this search a number of times. Yes, an appraiser may expand the distance to 50 miles. AI added or more. I didn't say 50 miles or more. I said, could they go to 50 miles? And then the artificial intelligence threw in or more on there. Uh, but they, meaning the appraiser, must adequately explain and support the rationale for using comparables outside the immediate market area. The key is to use the most comparable and approximate sales available. And if none are close enough, the appraiser can expand the search area. Yes, it's a common practice. I've had properties that requires the appraiser to go several hundred miles away. Yeah. It's the only way I could find, something that was comparable. That's the idea. The C word. Anyway, so those are, I used, this was a quick one. I wanted a more detailed answer. These are both good. I just, yes. I think I used this. This is the second one. This is the first one I got. Let's pull up on this. It's 9:42 a.m. and this is 9:44 a.m. See, this is the second one. This is the first one. You throw in different keywords, you get slightly different results. You keep doing that. You got to do, it writes it. And, the artificial intelligence, the whole, the system generates, this one-page answer for you. So I sent it along. I sent it to the property owner because we're trying to get this. This guy built a $4 million house out of pocket. There's no loans on it. Property is directly across from pad 39A. So you can go Google look at it if you want to. You may not find it. But I was looking at the mayor's ball a few years ago at the Boca West Country Club. This is November 2019. Yeah, that's 6 years ago. 6 years ago, almost to the day. That's the 16th. This is the 17th. Yeah. There's Jimmy in the white shades. It's a black tie event. I got the gray tie. I got a tuxedo. That was a tuxedo. And I wore a traditional tie. Black shirt, black tie, black on, black in black. I didn't wear a white tie. I wore a dark gray tie. And I put on my white shades just so I would be unforgettable. And if someone wanted to see what's going on, I'd pick them up and put it on top of my head. Yeah. And there's Dr. Ron. He's leaning on me. He occasionally leans on me. And he's got this neat little doodad. Yeah, I need to get me one of those somehow. It looks like that's some kind of a prize that he got somehow. Wonder if someone will give me something like that. And they served. This is at 8:24 p.m. This is at 6:47 p.m. This is the cocktail hour. Oh yeah, I can see people in the background that I know. Yeah, almost everybody that has their face showing, I know. And that's what they served. Oh my God, it was so good. There's a nice lobster tail and a like a 5-ounce fillet. it was cooked perfectly. Look at that. How the hell they serve 1,000 dinners that look like that? You know, and carry it out and put it on your table, and everyone chomps down. That was 6 years ago. This year, I didn't even I take pictures of food all the time. I didn't even take pictures of the food this time. It was disgusting. The meat was tough and overcooked. It was like what you would expect when they're serving 1,000 meals. I'm sorry. The Boca, and it was at the Boca Hotel. So those people did not do a good job in the food service situation. Yeah, but it's just you got to go to some of these events. Here's some of the newspapers that were. There we go. Now you can see everything I see. You got to be careful about. There you go. There's a booster coming back and landing on. Whoops. There you go. See, there's a booster getting ready to land on there. There it is. That was like Blue Horizon. That's the Jeff Bezos company trying to keep up with. That's the first one that they've ever successfully had. That's what it's taken off. That's when it's taken off. See right there, it's taken off. This looks like an explosion. That's what it sounds like. Now this is on pad 39A. They apparently have an exception in their, what do you call it? SpaceX has like a 15-year lease on pad 39A and pad 37. Something. Don't hold me to this, but I'm pretty sure they got pad 39A, yeah. And I think they have a backup pad 37 in that same general vicinity, because they're working on it. They're pouring concrete, digging holes, reinforcing iron. I mean, you need some serious cement. I mean, they dig holes and they form it out and they pour, hundreds of trucks, 9-yard trucks. Yeah, concrete's got to be 3 or 4 feet thick, reinforced. So the engines that have such thrust, millions of pounds of thrust, are pushing down, and they need, you can't dig a hole. You got to have, here a flame path, which you can see, and they spritz it with, 1,000,000 gallons of water, because the sound is so dramatic. If they spritz it with millions of gallons of water, right at the point of ignition blast off, and for that 5 or 7 seconds thereafter, because the acoustics is so bad, it would shake the stuff that's in the missile, or in here there's a second stage, and I think even a third stage. I think there are 2 other stages. So the first stage is they had the booster on the bottom of the rocket. Then where that black seam is right there, that's the separation between the booster and the top part, which is the second and third stage. Yeah, and it's going around Earth, and then it swings off over towards Mars, and it will fly for a couple of months. And I think there's an attempt to land something on Mars. so I can look around and take soil samples or something. And this is before blast off. This is right at blast off. See all the water? That's why that's not smoke. It's huge amounts of water coming out of these. A whole row of things. They have super pumps. They're pumping all that water so that when all these engines ignite, and there are 4 or 5, and 5 or 6 of them, 5, 6, 7 of them, we can see. There you go. You got 7 of them. Yeah, 6 and then 1 in the middle. And I think it's hydrogen and oxygen that's ignited. Phew. Talk about an explosive situation. SpaceX uses methane, ethane, propane, methane. That's what they use, methane. Well, my blood sugar is 95. I gotta watch my blood sugar. It's getting a little low. Let me have one of these. I have a little pocket of emergency. It's not an emergency, but if it gets like below 90, it gets in the 80s, there's an alarm that goes off. Yeah. And let's see what this is. Look at that, 5.2 volts, 0.674 amps. That's the current draw with these cameras. I have 3 of these. A 3-pack. 4th one looks out over the ocean, but it's not up. I had to swap out stuff because Google wouldn't recognize the other cameras. They're old, they're like 10 years old, 15 years old. And they just got to the point where they're not supporting them any longer. The software on the zoom lens and all that. And I still do that. It's not particularly expensive. But you don't like to, excuse me while I suck on this candy. It's not candy. It's Ricola. Clop drops. Sweet, sweet little boogers. They help my lungs. It's like menthol. It's not menthol, but it's like a mentholated something that, it's like a breath of fresh air. So you'll see my blood sugar go up. There you can see. See, it's 95 now. It was 94 a minute ago. Every couple of minutes, bing. The Freestyle Libre app um, sends a signal to the phone saying, bing, here's your new blood sugar level. There you go. Yeah, so I have that like in the background, so you can always see it whenever. Yeah. I don't want you to worry about my blood sugar. I'm paying attention. I had these pictures, so these are of, specific news events. So here's SpaceX has a simplified Starship plan for the moon. And this is what it'll actually look like. So this thing is big. That's a doorway, guys. there's a guy standing up there. He's not ducking to get out of that big, here's a light, you know. Anyway, the interesting thing about Elon, it's not like, he doesn't do everything. He's like he gives it that 10,000-foot view, and then he'll prod his managers, his different team leaders on these engineering teams. Let's try it this way. Let's try it that way. So the nice thing about Elon, the good thing about Elon is that now that he's so successful and the whole world knows it, I think he's, you know, maybe the richest person on the planet between SpaceX, that's got to be worth billions, privately held, and Elon owns a lot of it. His employees own a lot. There's some investors that own some of it. I don't know what the numbers are. Elon today owns, they just had a shareholder meeting with Tesla. So I have a sense of his ownership from reports I read regarding, the shareholder meeting. I saw it live and then I watched the replay. So I did it twice. And Elon owns a little more than 13% of the shares of Tesla, which is, it's millions of shares, and you multiply it by, $400, round numbers. So, when you take millions and you multiply it by 400, you end up with billions, a lot of billions. He has a pay plan that's going to earn him another 12%. So if he multiplies the value of the company, now this in stages, and there's 3 or 4 pages which define his pay plan, if you will, and it's over a 7-8 year period of time, maybe longer. So the shareholders, if their stock is worth 10 times more than it is today, aside from splits and things, accounting for splits and things, I should say, he would end up owning 25% of Tesla. That's what he wants. He wants a good chunk of it so that he can control what goes on. He's afraid of other people get control of Tesla. Then 25% ownership is considered effective control as opposed to actual control, which is 50% plus 1 share. In today's economic standards, if you have 25% or more, let's just say 25%, that's considered effective control. That's where he wants to be. I don't blame him. So Apple has released, as you can see there, just paging through some of these important things, there are several billion. Can you believe it? There are several billion, like 2 billion, 2.2 billion, some kind of a number like that. iPhone users out there all over the planet. 2 billion people, have that phone on their nightstand, serving as their alarm clock, or they're waking up somewhere on the planet, So that's so Apple's new iOS 26 update is arriving for iPhones, but it's not ready to be released to the buying public yet because they always send the software updates to a close-knit bunch of people to try it out and debug it in case they got some major bugs or flaws in it that where people can, their information can be compromised in one way or another. So then after that happens, then they release it to people like me. Now remember, there's several billion with a boy. Be like boy. Several billion people have iPhones. It's hard to imagine. I remember when Steve Jobs held up the first one, like 15 years ago. Now there's 2 billion phones. They're marvelous devices. I mean, it is a super unbelievable computer. I'm a computer nerd, so to speak. And I appreciate the, what goes on in an iPhone and how, powerful it is. It does this and it does that. And oh my God, it's unbelievable. And by the way, it's also a phone. I mean, we do so much with the device. And oh, by the way, it's a phone. Oh my God. Well, next year, so this is iPhone 17, I believe. I have in my it's just sitting right over there, charging. And it's a brand new phone that was released a month ago or so. Let's see, this is November, October, September. That's 2 months ago. Time flies when you're having a good time. Yeah, oh boy. So I'm what is considered a beta tester. Now the developers, there's a bunch of app developers, they're Apple engineers, so forth, that are super duper beta testers. Let's say there's 40,000 of those, or 20,000 of them, And once they use it, and they're tasked with the responsibility of checking this thing out big time before they release it to a bunch of beta testers like Jimmy. And there's a million or so of us. Now remember, there are 2.2 billion phones out there. And there's about a million, maybe more, beta testers like me that get it from the developers. I'll get iOS 26.2, what is this? Maybe tomorrow. I'll get a notice on and the way I find out is I go to settings. There's settings, you know what that looks like. I scroll down here to general, push the button, and then you see where it says about. See the second thing says software update. Boom. You touch that thing. iOS is up to date, 26.1. I turned off the beta feature because that's another, let's just see what that's like. Do I really want to do, I'm not a developer. I am just a public beta. Yeah, public beta. Now let's see if we got any public beta. So we're going to go back. I go all the way back. We start this over again. And we hit software update. And we see if it says it's up to date. Do we need more details? Uh-huh. All right. There isn't anything further to discuss. So here's the model number, the phone number. This is an iMapad. So it has a digital line. You can see that 8667070. I'm using that as a cellular data line. I like the number. I handpicked it. It was on another device, and I didn't want to give the number up. So I called AT&T and said, "Hey, this is our number. It's yours, but I'm paying for it. So let's pack that into my iMapad, and we'll use it as a data line. There may be a time I want you to bring that back into a cell phone and use that as a regular traditional cell phone number. You can do that, right?" She said, "Absolutely." All right. Put it in this iPad. Here is the IMEI number. You see that number beginning with a 35? That's the number they need so they can link the IMEI. It's like an electronic serial number, and they attach it to that phone number. And that way, anything that gets sent, when I go online to, download whatever, like a software update, it uses that data line number if I'm not connected to the internet. Of course, I am connected to the internet, right? Let's go back to settings, touch settings, and I'm going to touch Wi-Fi, and there I am, RPP 801. That is my router, which is like a server in the house here. And it's got, a full bunch of partial circles, and that logo thingy that looks like you're connected to Wi-Fi. You see the blue Wi-Fi with the 4 circles or so? Yeah. Uh-oh. Facebook just went 99. All right, I'm on, what do you call it, YouTube, 1223. Facebook went away. All right. Anyway, so I'm checking my Wi-Fi. I got good Wi-Fi connection. Whoops. I don't need to do that. There we go. So we're going to close down settings. How's my blood sugar doing? Ooh, it's screeching down to 88. What is this collections with a little number 1 on it? What does that mean? I have a brand new phone. Excuse me, a brand new connection with that number 1 there. Where's that? I'm not too. I don't know what that means. There's a 1 right over in the very top. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, you can. I can see it. Yeah, there it is. Library and then collections, and there's a 1. And I don't know why. I can't tell from there. Collections 1. Yeah. I go right to recently saved. This is what I need to keep me going on this show. I'm going to the reason why I have this I can go silent. but it's not good because you're streaming and it's like water in a hose. You want to make sure there's always some water dripping through the hose so that it doesn't freeze and you lose your internet connection. I think I just lost Facebook. They can reconnect. You know, it's called jitter. There we go. See, the needle went, oh, you can't see that. I can do it if I do it here. Because this iPad, see, I'm doing it from my control station. You can't see that, but if I do it here, there we go. Let's check the internet connection on my iPad. Now you watch the needle fluctuates a little. Now this is download speed, which is not something I'm not concerned about because we're content creators. There you go. You see the needle is, you know, it fluctuates a little. And you can see the result. Let's detailed results. I press on that. And you see what the results are. The upload is 59.6 megabits per second. I need 10. I got 59. So that's a good thing. But you see this graphic, the purple line, it's got some fluctuation in it. We call that jitter. And on the upload, there's a lot of jitter. And a low of 20 and a high of 603. I think when it got to 603, that's when Facebook went bye-bye. I mean, you know, you can't see it in the results before I hit detailed results. But if you look at the detailed results, responsiveness, you go down to ping in milliseconds. What was the ping? It was 23 megapixels. It took 23 milliseconds. It's a ping, like you hit a pipe underwater, and how long does it take before you can hear the sound of the hitting of that pipe underwater? It's in thousandths of a second. That's the ping. That gives you a signal. So when the ping is low, that's a good thing. Like 23 milliseconds. That means it goes, you know, it goes to the backbone of the internet and ricochets back at you. Um, you know, so it travels, let's say, 30 or 40 miles round trip through the world of internet. All these connections, whether they're over the air or whether they're AT&T and Verizon both use fiber optics, a lot of fiber optics, because it can hold thousands of sources of information. It could be a phone. You're talking to, your mother in Kansas City. A line is created, when you connect with your phone and you talk to Aunt Louise in Kansas City. And that's probably going to go over some fiber optics. Even though your phone is a regular braided pair, or it could be a phone connected through the internet because you have a pipe. You have a connection to your cable box, and they run your phone signal is carried right on the same cable as your TV signal is. But they're different signals, different characteristics, different voltages, different frequency, and they can all fit in that conduit, the cable, that you screw onto the back of your modem. Yeah. It's the same, they're trying to sell me a phone. I don't want a phone. I don't need a phone. Everybody's got a cell phone. I don't need something ringing in my house. Um, and I'm not being old fashioned about it. I mean, that's not what I mean by it. It's just that I don't need to pay it another $20 a month to have a nice phone that sits, somewhere. And when someone calls, you can see the caller ID on your TV. It will strip if you want. You don't have to have it come through, with that kind of notice. It can just ring, You can beep. You can flash. You can do whatever you want. It can send a signal to your iPhone, your iPhone. You can send some kind of a signal over to another cellular device that your home phone is ringing. Yeah. I don't need it, so I don't. Why pay $20 a month for something that's not going to be used? You know, you say, well, you get a landline, and that way, yeah, no, a phone, the cellular service is about as impervious as you can get. And if everything goes down, so fine, you don't talk for a while. And after a while, texting will come up as the internet, reconstructs itself. Um, AT&T wants you to be connected, so they'll be busting their bananas to make sure you have some kind of connection. So that's, but I don't want a phone. Now Marilyn said, hey, you know what? Let's have a home phone. Psst, I'll do it. I don't see a need for it because she's got a cell phone. I got a cell phone. Daniel's got a cell phone. Brennan's got a cell phone. Robin's everybody's got their own cell phone. And they can all talk to each other through that. Now I'm talking to you through this Shure microphone, which is surely a magnificent microphone. Yeah, it is. I can get real close and, sound like I'm in the bottom of a big barrel. It's actually a very accurate reproduction of what you're supposed to sound like, I'm told. I've gotten a couple of compliments recently, which that's pretty nice. You think you're talking here. I, you talk to yourself, all night long. It's amazing. It's I've lost Twitter. I lost Facebook. So I'm just talking to what do you call it? YouTube Live. So I've got YouTube for an hour and 4 minutes. I lost Facebook about 20 minutes ago, and I lost Twitter right away. It rejected. They wouldn't connect. I was supposed to be on 3 social networks, but right now I'm on 1. You see little ticker tape up on the top. Live, Facebook Live, YouTube Live. My handle is FAU4U. You see up in the top there? F like Florida, A like Atlantic, U like University. FAU, it's the number 4, and then U. Yeah, it was available, so I grabbed it, 15 years ago. There are a lot of people that love to have that one. But Jimmy was first. There was some kind of rule where you had to have 5 characters. You couldn't just have FAU. I tried that and it sounded like, bing. Sorry, you have to have 5 characters. I mean, now you have to have exclamation points and oh my God. To get handled today would be James W. 907330, with the millions of James Wilsons that are there all over the world. There's a bunch of them. I mean, there's 6 million of them in Florida. Can you imagine? 6 million Wilsons in just Florida. I did a record search a long time ago. I don't think they all moved out. I think probably more of them today. Anyway, so you can see jitter. Let's get out of this. Whoops. I'm on my iPad, so I just do touchscreen to get rid of that. And I can use touchscreen. You just touch this little oval box over here in the top left corner, or just hit the X. Pew. That'll be the end of that for the results. Do we want to do it again? All right. Do it one more time. See what happens. Jitter is good. Or ping, I mean. The needle is, you know, you can see the line. It looks like a pretty straight line. Let's see what happens with the upload speed. That's download. Oh, the line is going. Let's see what happens. Let's see what it looks like. Details. Yeah, look at the wobble in the upload. I mean, the average speed is 58.1. But in the 32 megabyte file that they used to load up to a dummy receiver, you can see how the signal wobbled. That's when Facebook or somebody will drop out, is when it dips down a little bit too much, then you might, be below 8 megabits per second for, even if it's just for a tenth of a second. And all of a sudden, boom, it's like falling off the boat. Facebook's gone for the evening. They do connect back up and they splice the two pieces together. But YouTube has got a consistent hold on this communication that's been going on now for an hour and 8 minutes. It's 12:37. It's Monday. It's Tuesday now. Oh boy, it's Tuesday. Oh God, what do I do now? My blood sugar is 106. You can see it came back up. Get rid of what's going on here. Oh yeah, it says 94. It's 105. This says 105. That says 105. There you go. Goes up and down. There you go. I had some pretzels this evening and whoosh, went over 180 and started alarming on me. And three pretzels. I should have, or I think I had, maybe it was two. I should have just had one. Yeah. It comes back down. You see, my A1C is 6. That's not bad. There you go. Cycle through the different types of analyses. The A1C is what everybody wants to know, like your doctors and so forth. I'm in range, in the green, if you will, 93% of the time. There you can see. I'm out of range 7% of the time, and it's high. I generally don't get a low reading. When it gets below 80, then it starts alarming on the other way. As a matter of fact, you can see how low. You see that low point right there? You can see it. I can't. I can move along, but I can't. I can't do a reverse pinch on this. So this is today and yesterday. Let's just do the last 24 hours. So the next time it pings, it'll update. But my vital signs are good. Find my, just to verify where I am actually. Where are you? I'll show you. I got a lock on my front door. I'm not afraid. Where's the blue dot? Where is the blue dot? It's right there. It was underneath Marilyn's pretty face. And you can see right there, that blue is my phone sitting right here. If I turned off that phone, that blue dot would disappear. But I don't want to turn off. It doesn't. If I turn off my phone, it will not disconnect this because this is going through my MacBook Pro, the model Air. It is not a touchscreen, but I'm told I have read certain journals that say that they're going to make a MacBook Pro with a touchscreen. It's like sacrilege. Apple has been saying it ain't happening, it ain't happening. Well, pardon the expression, bullshit. It's going to happen. I'm sorry, they're full of, you know what? It is going to happen. My electrocardiogram, which I performed yesterday because it's Tuesday. Oh, crap. I need to go to bed. This is a late night edition. And I had a little napski earlier in the day. So Marilyn went to bed early. So I figured I'll get on here and talk to you guys. Because you're always, you're always interested in the technology that I play with. So that's a good thing. All right, I'm going to save that to photos. And then soon that photo should show up in my photo album. It should show up right here. The cropping that I did should show up on this, yeah. And that's what my home screen looks like. Bingo, there you go. Phew. That's what I just cropped. Now I want to take this image. This is a little late night digital imaging class. You see down here, I'm going to push the magic wand down here right underneath the letter A. There's a circle. I'm just going to tap the magic wand and it will, you can see how it changes the image a little bit. You have to watch pretty carefully. All right, magic wand. Then I come over here to shadow and I turn off all the shadows. And you see how it deepens the blacks and all that. And then I go to a black point and I turn that up all the way. And that gives you more contrast on this November 18th signal. And then the saturation, turn it up all the way. And I just click on done, and then I open it back up again. So now we have this image has been fortified, if you will. So I'm not going to touch the magic wand again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this cleanup button down here on the lower right, inside this oval down here. You can see it right there. It looks like an eraser. Touch that. And then when the little hand goes back and forth, that means I can go over and paint out. It's gone. I want to see if I can calm this down a little bit. Yeah. And then I'm going to go around this corner and get rid of that white. That's gone. Touch on that. That's gone. See how that eraser works? Pretty good. I'm going to try to come around here. Sometimes this does crazy things. It didn't tonight. Thank you very much. Let's just see if I can get rid of that. All right, that's acceptable. I don't know what's going on. Oh yeah, this is the edge of the other icon. We'll just do this. And I'll probably crop that out anyway. Yeah, let's go to crop and get out of here. We need to come right over there, and this comes in just a little bit. So the left and the right borders are the same. Come up on this a little bit, and come down on this a little bit. Yeah, this is to make sure that the ticker tape doesn't roll over the November part. So we'll leave a little extra space on the top, if you're wondering what's going on. All right, so now I'm going to go back to cleanup, and then waiting for that hand to go back and forth. It takes a little while. There's a lot going on here, because it remembers every step. So we have to be patient while the system is going through all these software steps. Yeah, it's time to get with the program here. The little hand isn't there, but it's working. So let's just work it. As long as it's working. There we go. Get rid of that vertical bar. I don't want that sitting there distracting. Get rid of that all the way. Now I have to get rid of this because that's touching right on the red. See if I can get rid of that without distorting the whole red thing. That worked out okay. Maybe it's on the phone sometimes. There's a lot going on the phone. It's not necessarily going on in the iPad. But this is a new iPad. I sold some equipment, and this is an updated iPad. I always sell equipment and get, more recent models every couple of years to stay on top of the technology because you guys are interested. And I want you to know these iPad Pros are really good. And I believe I got 2 terabytes of storage on here. Oh, it's taking forever to get rid of that. Now I need to get rid of this line that's going down the edge. If I can, it's like a coloring book. I'm a little wobbly here at 12:48 a.m. Yeah, I'm only going to be talking for the next 10 minutes. When I finish doing this, I'm going nighty-night. I can't get rid of that white. I've done this too many times. I'm done with that. Let's get rid of this part. Let's try that. There we go. Now we get rid of that. Now let's see if I can get rid of this. Bingo, finally. You scrub it enough, it gets the message. It has artificial intelligence. Yeah, there you go. See, that's pretty good. I've got rid of. We want to have an accent on the November 18th. That's tomorrow. It's Tuesday, midnight. There you go. It's all set, ready for tomorrow. And I'm going to duplicate that. And I'm going to execute this again. Go to yeah. I need to do this cleanup, and I'm going to paint out Tuesday. This is just I end up doing 3 of these. Just it like separates everything I do from today as opposed to tomorrow. Um, so now we're going to save it, duplicate it. There we go. So that's a duplicate of that. So now we're going to come up here. Whoops, I'm sorry. We're going to come down here. Whoops, touch that, and then hit the cleanup button again, and then paint out November. Yeah, just big square. Let's see. Hopefully that works. Ah, thank you very much. Left a few artifacts, which we can remove. So now we have the 18th all by itself. Save it. There you go. So we got the 18th. We got November 18th. And it's Tuesday, November 18th. That I will use on tomorrow's show. And we're all set to do tomorrow. How about that? I'm going to go back to photos. And we're going to go back to, I have to close out Mondays. Oddly enough. Yeah. I've got to double click that right there. That is my entire entourage. Yeah. If I hit this and go full screen, does that, there we go. Now it covers everything so that there. Oh my God. November 17th. Yeah. It was a good day. I finally got my kitchen camera running so you can see my kitchen. I can see my kitchen. My kids can see the kitchen. Marilyn can see. I just put the software on Marilyn's phone. So if she wants to check in on me, unless I'm in the bathroom or I'm laying down in the bedroom, there are no cameras in the bedroom or the guest room. Certainly not in the bathroom. Please. Yeah. No pictures in the bathroom. But there's a camera in the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen. Just like a security thing, so we're out and about. If someone were to break in our place, I've got them on camera, and this records. So don't bust in here. You get. I'll send the file right to the police department. They're not going to be happy. They're going to get you because they'll do facial recognition, and you'll be in the Hooskow pretty quickly. All right, it's been a pleasure. I think I've improved the audio quality because I looked at the processor and it needed adjustment. And I didn't realize it was overmodulated on the low. How low can you go? Well, you keep the microphone about 6 inches away from you and you just speak normally. And it catches all the audio. Yes, it does. But the audio was a little too, the low frequency was being overmodulated. It was, covering up the rest of the frequencies that come out of your mouth. So I think it sounds better. I go back and, sample, listen to what I do just to, see if, because there's three of us that are running this studio, me, myself, and I. I am the stage hand, I am the producer, and I'm the talent. Use that in quotation marks. I'm the guy talking, so someone's talking and the producer, he feeds you the things you should be talking about. Now I do that with these photographs. So that reminds me of what I should talk about. Well, tomorrow it's going to be the 18th. So I have the 18th. There you go. I've got the logo for that. So this is the early morning edition of Tuesday, November 18th. No, I'll just leave that on there because you guys know what I mean. We'll just put 18 on there to close down on the show. And we'll see you tomorrow. Somewhere between 9 and 11 a.m. tomorrow, depending on the internet connection. I'll try to do a morning show since this is a late night show. Actually, it's an early morning show and a late night show. So, the people in Hong Kong, it's noon over there. They're 11, 12, 13 hours ahead of us. Yeah. The sun will eventually come up in a few hours. So I have to go nighty night. I'm not going to have a good sleep score tomorrow because it's 1 a.m. I have to go relieve myself a little bit, go to the bathroom. I have my Diet Coke here. I'm drinking Diet Coke now to cut down on my sugar. If I have a regular sugar, it jumps up to like 180, and then if you have anything else, down, and it jumps to 300. No, can't do that. Dealing with your blood sugar is a very important thing. And, between, the chemistry that's available to patients these days and controlling your diet will keep you from severe diabetic, they start amputating stuff, if you don't take care of your blood sugar. So I'm taking care as best I can. I have like a half a bowl of pasta instead of stuffing it all the way. No. I went out with some good friends to Mia Rosebud, and I had linguine with clams, and I ate the whole thing. I had no takeout. I usually take back half of it. I ate every little tiny piece of pasta was eaten up, and I had 2 tureens of clam sauce, so it was just magnificent. Mia Rosebud. Yeah. It's in the ground floor of the 150 building that Bill Morris refurbished, got rid of all the asbestos. It was a difficult task, but he got it done. Well, a long time ago, like 15 years ago, maybe longer. All right, sports fans, I want you to have a good night because it's 12:58 and it's time to go to bed. See you tomorrow.